We are recording the podcast you're listening to now, fools. Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling on the Marshland Media Empire Conglomeration Worldwide Takeover.org system. I'm your host, Sean.
And I'm your co-host, James.
Nailed it. Or I'm your co-host, Sean.
No.
And with me is the host, James. All right, never mind. Why not?
You want to know what? I've come to realize that either you need to start paying me for editing or you need to edit this damn yourself because you're the host, baby.
That's true. But I'm being forced out of my apartment, which was a conversation I was not ready to have on
what's happening?
Microphone. Someone bought the building, so we gotta get a new place.
Oh, dude, move around here, baby.
You got room for 3 with reasonable rent for dudes that don't have the best credit score in the history of credit scores?
Well, there's places around here.
I mean, we're looking, so maybe.
Come on, baby. I'm gonna get out and I'll start going for walks. And every time I see a place that says for rent 3-bedroom, I'm gonna click. And then Sean's gonna be coming over and saying, "Hey, James, let's watch some wrestling." And I'll say, "It's Friday, man. I'm too high. And in the summertime, I'm planning on wearing clothes on Fridays." Nicole thinks this is a bad idea, and then we'll get into wrestling.
Wearing clothes? Well, it is a crime, I think.
No, I think one
day
a
wear
week,
clothes.
One day a week when I don't leave the apartment, I should be able to, at minimum, just wear like pajama pants. That's it. No shirt, no underwear. And the pajama pants that I'm wearing, I will only wear on this single day because that I maybe do laundry once every 2.5 months. But if I'm doing this, I get to prolong that for another probably 2 weeks because that's, I'm going to calculate, that's 6 or 7 clothings.
I feel like if you're going to take on as drastic of a life choice as becoming a nudist, which is what this is.
Well, pajama pant.
We both know this is a gateway until your ultimate goal.
No.
Pure nudity.
Because I don't want to set my butthole on furniture.
Okay, that's fair.
Because even though I'm getting that caked up type feeling in my ass, I'm still, I can't fully relax knowing that when I relax, my cheeks will start spreading. And then I'm conflicting other people. I'm having them think, oh, did James's butthole sit where I'm sitting? Well, we're doing straight to Patreon.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'll be thinking about if I knew what was going on in the depths of depravity of your apartment.
Yeah, and then you need a binder to put over your lap.
Oh, because of an erection.
Yeah.
Yes, true. Yes, true. But my point was, if you're going to make this decision, I don't think it should be made from a place of logistics and like, oh, well, I can do laundry this and the mathematically. This is coming from the heart, and I think you just have to be honest about that. James, want to wear less clothes, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's coming from I hate our laundry machine so fucking much that to the point where last time I went to Muskegon, we're allowed 2 carry-ons. One of the carry-ons was just full of dirty clothes, so I could bring it to Nicole's mom's and do it there because every single time something doesn't work, and I have not told this story anywhere on a podcast. Last time I did laundry, it was a couple weeks ago, and granted, I mean, this is not my fault. This is our building management's fault.
Those bastards. I don't know if you can tell. I do not like building management right now. Can't determine why.
I started up, I think, dryers. Yeah, the dryers at this point. And I get like this, like, I hear this banging and I'm like, what? Did that come from the laundry? I don't know. But I have headphones on.
Was it on a trash can?
No. Underneath the street lights.
Big. James, I'm going to need you to think big. Big.
Wait.
Those are the next lyrics.
Okay.
I promise that's part of this song,
All
too.
right. Because I was like, that's what you were setting me up for, was underneath the streetlights. Doug.
Then Baby comes in from Doug, and she talks about the big old bigness.
Okay, so I'm loading up the other dryer because, I have that much laundry. I need 2 dryers. One of them always does not dry. It's still like wet, so I have to always hang shit up to the point where I was doing laundry in the tub. I was just like, screw this. Also,
Yeah.
it now will take me $8 to do laundry because they recently upped it. And it still doesn't work, so sometimes it's $10 because I have to put in another, like, just jam it all in another one, no matter how little or large my loads are. But all of a sudden, I hear the door from the basement swing open, and I look, and there's a woman there, and I, like, take off my headphones, and she goes, do you want to try not doing laundry this early in the morning? It was like 7 a.m.
Wow. Did she have a binder over her pelvis when she heard about your large load?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
And I say, I'm sorry. I start my day really early. I apologize. I didn't know this was causing so much racket to the people above, but that's an ICM issue.
Yeah, I was saying, that's kind of crazy. I feel like you should be able to do laundry at any time of the day or night.
But
like, it's not vacuuming, it's laundry.
Wait, is this it? So when I go back, I see this note to get my laundry. It says sorry, and it's a very nice. I was going to unload on this person on Mostly Speaking Sentai later that day, but they said
it's like 2 pages.
Oh, well, it's 1 page, and I think to like make it so because it bled through, and she wanted to put sorry on the back. She said, "Hello, neighbor. I am sincerely sorry for startling you or being rude. I wish I could start my days really early. I bet you are productive. Please accept my apology
not true.
as I was having a rough night. Have a lovely day." Smiley face. I'm very productive.
Thank you for powering through that letter and be like, how dare this man? Yeah. How dare this man attack me for the one thing? No, I was talking to Torchy about it. You're amazing. You're very productive. We're fucking sick of it. How good at stuff you are. You're very productive.
Yay.
I love this woman and this note. I love this note. That's so sweet.
What I should have done after this is send a strongly worded email to ICM of like, hey, I shouldn't have to be inconveniencing people to do my laundry.
I mean, yeah, it all goes to the top. If we learned anything from doing 8 months of an Insane Clown Posse podcast, it's not about each other. It's about fighting the boys and the girls at the top who are shitting down our throats and making us wear pajama pants when we want to be bare ass butt naked.
And speaking of which, next week, Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling will be taking a vacay because Violent J released a solo album called Bloody Sunday.
Oh, man, and I'm sure we will enjoy listening to it.
So I was listening to it. I was stoned. And
on marijuana?
Yes. No, on Whippets.
Oh, neat. Hell yeah.
I said to Nicole, I was like, man, I'm going to hate this album and Sean's going to love it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I feel like all the albums where you hate and I love it, okay, so you know, like on the karmic scale, when you go and you die, and there is like, I think it's like a pig and a chicken, and they weigh them out, and if the pig weighs more than the chicken, you go to hell.
Oh, I've never heard this, but I'm surprised Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope haven't talked about this in their thematically karma-esque messaging.
God, they love God. Anyway, I feel like every time I like an album that you don't like, my pig gets bigger, is what I'm trying to say. And I just get closer and closer to being an unredeemable, terrible person. Because I really thought Yo Yo Bedlam wasn't the most misogynistic thing I've ever heard.
It sucks.
It's up there. It's up there.
Yeah, but Bloody Sunday, it's got some good pussy on it.
Oh, wonderful.
The messaging is pretty good, but the song itself sucks so hard. It's a country song.
Oh, why?
I got some good pussy too, and that makes me a good pussy too.
It makes me think they heard that Kid Rock song, I put your picture away, but they haven't heard it until like 5 days ago.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh yeah, Detroit, we can do country, let's go. It was like, this was years ago. This was a decade ago, I think.
My guess is Violent J, because of his health issues, we'll speculate more on this. Let's forget about that. Pro wrestling
That's right, because next week there is no escape from good pussy, and this week there is no escape for King Cuerno and Johnny Mundo inside the temple. We're talking about episode 18, season 1 of Lucha Underground. Interest is a weird. So usually episodes are either very match based or very like story based. I feel like this week was like a good mix. I felt like there was a good little bit of A, a little bit of B.
I thought this was just a fantastic episode. 2 thumbs up, plugs.
Okay, well, you can follow me at twitch.tv. Now we can talk a little bit more about it. Love it. We get the recap of who's in Penta's mind. Evilise don't date losers. And Cuerno and Mundo fight past double count out. So Cowboy Cuerno will agree to a cage match. I am not over King Cuerno's cowboy hat. It's the best thing ever.
That's not the wackiest thing from his lore that we get expanded on in this episode. He just drives a pickup truck.
I can't wait to talk about the pickup. The pickup truck is great, by the way. It is like cherry red and it is so nice, and he does not show up to work on time. It's awesome.
It truly keeps as they go with his backstory. This is Los Luchadores. It's insane.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah.
What? This is how I talk. For true. Like, it's so, I don't know, man. You can do so many things in wrestling. I like, but it is the one, it's funny because you can do like subtle storytelling. You can do small, intimate like moments, but you can also just be buck fucking wild. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's a medium, like maybe outside of comic books, that really kind of gives you permission to be as weird and buck fucking wild as professional wrestling does.
Yeah.
Like even King Cuerno, like in this instance, this is a blood feud. Cuerno has been hunting. He has put a lock on Mundo. He's been ruining this man's life. This is not like let's just wrestle because, like, no, these guys fucking hate each other. This is like old school cage match style. It's very personal. And we're still getting cowboy hats and pickup trucks.
Wait, like
and it's
old school cage match, you mean the UCB show?
Yes. This is Jason Mantzoukas versus Johnny Mundo.
Yeah, oh my God, that would be amazing.
Egg on a pole match.
No!
I know. No, Jason Mantzoukas is fighting for his life out here.
That'll kill him.
It's so brutal and it's so exciting. Speaking of brutal, Penta is in a beautifully odd place right now with the fans of the temple.
Before that, we do get them setting up saying like, oh, it's gonna be this cage, this four-sided. They should have called it a four-sided fence match because it seems like they're talking to me as they're displaying this cage of just dominating, which...
Sure.
Sean...
Yep.
I've realized my gripe is not with dogs themselves.
Okay. That's... You know what? This week, because we all know how much I hate this bit.
Yes, it's not a bit.
I truly, truly loathe this, not a comedy bit, but a bit of information that you have created and shared with the universe. I hate it.
Okay.
But it sounds like you've made progress, that It's not about the hatred. I am coming this week with an open mind and an open heart, and I am proud of you and your growth. So, James, thank you. And I appreciate you. I am sorry to interrupt.
And I realize this because I'm going to go pick up Nicole, and on my way back...
Loving Nicole. Funniest part of this podcast.
I pick her up at the local bus stop at nighttime so she doesn't get, murdered, kidnapped, in that order.
Okay, good shit.
Because, people see her and they murder her and they'll be like, oh my God, like, we should actually keep her body. It's magnificent. Like, this is a work of art.
Absolutely. I don't want to say this. The first time I guessed it on Mostly Speaking Sentai, I kind of wanted to murder Nicole.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know this person. They invited me into their home for their lovely podcast. I had a great time. I think you guys offered me pizza that first time.
Maybe.
And I was like, this is some tasty pizza. I should probably murder at least one of them.
You should say I want to own their skin, because that's the better route to go down instead of saying like, yeah, I saw this woman and I wanted to murder her. Those are the freaks. But people with sophisticated tastes in the arts see her and say, wow, that should be on display.
No, sure. The more wildly specific you are in the details, the less real it seems.
Yes.
I decided to forego that and just be terrible.
So I'm
Yes.
going and I get to our apartment and I go, what? I stepped in and I'm in boots and I stepped in just a pile of shit. So it's like
Boot poop.
in. And I don't wear boots that often, so they're still the tread is still there, and I'm having to just like bang out as hard as I can, still
On a
shit in
trash
there.
can.
Yes, underneath the I was underneath streetlights while I was doing that.
Big!
So I realized it's the guy, because I'm not seeing stray dogs walking around. I see a couple stray cats, but never any cat shit, and bunnies. This is not bunny poop. If a bunny shit this much, we have bigger problems, okay, than just me having to scrape it off from my shoe.
Bunny dysentery is a real problem, and that's what I'll be using my plug segment to talk about.
I just realized it is dog people, not dogs. So I have revamped the Dominator, and I'm calling it
Okay.
the Deconator.
Okay. I'm yep.
It's more of a, I don't know, a Hello Fresh of a dominating over someone, opposed to like, hey, this is a cage that we're going to shove you into, sort of imprison and dominate you that way. So you get a kit. It's like, oh, wow, you live in a food desert? Well, get the Deconator, okay? And here's what it is. This included in the Deconator.
Oh, you have notes.
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm supporting this segment.
You get about maybe 100 meters of plastic wrap, smelling salts, a hunter's knife, and a syringe full of sleepy sauce. So you can be exactly, and I don't know how we'll do this, maybe on a recording. We need a dark passenger to kind of ramp you up like, oh, I can record it right now.
You gotta murder that dog person. They're not cleaning up that duty. They're not doing anything. It's searing inside of you and you need this.
So we'll put that on a recording device, or I guess a
Sure.
speaker, and it'll just play on loop to really ramp you up, and you'll deconate someone, aka it's, you're like Dexter, but even better. Even better, because you're taking out the real evil in the world.
And thank goodness. So just to cut through some of the corporate jargon, get to the real meat and potatoes of this. This is murder.
It's
This
a kill
is
kit.
death.
Yes. I will admit to that.
Then that's your first and last mistake.
Oh, okay.
James. You shouldn't have been. Yeah.
I understand it's a kill kit.
Great, good invention. I do not sign off on this, but I support you in whatever way I can, legally distinct.
Well, here's how you can support me. I know this will probably break bad for me. I won't be like sentenced to death, mainly because,
might.
Illinois and whatnot.
This is a rough second strike.
This is what I'll do. I'll say like, hey, guys, I'll set up a company called like Joe and Joey Records, and that's what will be put out, and that'll be a shill company. So then if
we will not actually call it Joe and Joey, because that has been now taken down on the record as well.
Well, I mean, it's also the company that Psychopathic created so they could put out Psychopathic Riders.
Maybe we do actually make it Joe and Joey. You know what? Yeah, we'll cut this part out. Yeah.
So if I get sued for this, I'll be like, well, I wasn't really meaning for them to do that. Sorry. But Sean, you're in the driver's seat. You have a microphone. You can record stuff. So guess what? You do a true crime podcast about this whole entire venture, and then you're sitting pretty for the rest of your life.
Has the end game for this entire process be to set me up with a true crime podcast?
Absolutely.
Finally have a podcast on this network that people want to listen to?
Yeah. Because hey, this will not be a Marshland Media. The Deconator will not be Marshland Media. So
no, it's Joe and Joey.
Yeah, the company of Marshland Media will still thrive while I'm in pauper's prison.
I'm like surprisingly touched actually by all this now.
Yeah.
And wow, thanks.
Because now
James.
I have recorded clips that you can use within that podcast. Usually people don't have that. It's like, we have to, after the fact, get recordings of them in jail. But no, you have straight from the source. You already know where it's at. The Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling. But, if you pull that, even with that in mind, this podcast will still get less plays than This Movie's Gay.
Oh, absolutely. yeah, don't worry about that. What we should worry about is Penta versus Arhennis, our first match of the night. Jumping back to what I was saying before, Penta is getting, he comes out to the huge Cerro Miedo chants. Penta is getting super over as a babyface, despite being, pretty much a Deconator in and of himself. Dude's kind of a murderer, yeah.
Deconator for the right arm.
Yeah, just to remind everyone, Penta has been wrestling a lot of lower tier guys, and they clear it up on commentary. He is sending them to the hospital. And this company does not have health insurance.
I see, and that was going, stop billing this, man. This is why they'll get lawsuits.
But everyone, it's so he's arguably that's bad guy behavior. People fucking love it. People are ecstatic for this violent man.
And Vampiro clarifies for us. He's saying it's not just a master. He is saying it feels from his verbiage, it's more so an entity that he has. I believe that's Vampiro who says this.
It is Vampiro who clarifies Amo, who Penta addresses Amo every time he's dedicating anything to this master entity.
Which maybe King Gordy is who he's praying to, the entity.
Geez, I hope so.
Or
mine is Bloodwing Entity, a flying creature for one regular mana, one blue and one red, who has prowess and is like a 1/3, which is pretty good and limited, but probably don't want to put him in any of your EDH decks.
Or a little company called The Asylum's answer to Paranormal Activity. They did Paranormal Entity. Very good movie. Check that out.
Yeah, I would like to keep going on in this bit, but we're already at 30 minutes almost. Maybe more like 20. But he's finally wrestling someone with a little bit more of an edge, a little bit more of a competitor. Someone we've seen for a couple weeks now, Arhennis. And Arhennis is kicking Penta's ass through a lot of this match. Literally the first thing is Penta tries to roll through, but he ends up presenting himself, and Arhennis just kicks him in the butt with his foot. And it's kind of it's all Arhennis early on, the huge acai moonsault, top rope Frankensteiner, and it just moves. I think I counted it off. It's not until this is about halfway through the match. It's a short match. It's about 5 minutes, but it takes about halfway through that match that Penta gets his first anything on Arhennis, which is that low drop kick, cutting off a mid back handspring. So it's the back handspring, he goes on his hands, and then he does a flare, and cheerleaders love back handsprings. Arhennis is doing a back handspring, and then Penta just comes in with his feet and fucking kick him in the face real hard. And it's the first thing, again, halfway through the match, the first thing Penta does.
Halfway through the match, that means he takes Quaaludes and has sex with a dog.
James.
Hugh Hefner style, dude.
Wait. Did Hefner have sex with a dog? Is that for true?
Haven't we talked about this on the show?
No.
I think it was on Sweaty Time. It came out in one of these Playboy documentaries that Playmates and bunnies are being interviewed for. One of them said that he, in quotes, I believe I might be paraphrasing, she might be paraphrasing, and again, allegedly we should include.
Sure.
That he said something like, like dogs gotta get off too. Something of those.
Yo, nope. Yo, what?
I'll
No.
find the direct
What?
quote. Yeah.
Oh, well, damn. I can't say anything about the Dominator ever again. Because at least you're not Hugh. Jesus Christ.
See, in
All
the
right, getting
Deconator,
this podcast.
clearly Hugh Hefner is a dog person, and that's who I'm taking out with the Deconator.
Getting this podcast back on track. Iron Man AC Green, retired NBA player, urges Arhennis to get back up, and Josh Barnett approves. So we got a few celebrities in the crowd, people kind of excited. Like, and it's not, I think it's a studio audience, so there's probably a mix of like studio regulars, but the way they cut to the audience, it's a pretty packed crowd. Like, and a very hot crowd, small but dedicated. And as soon as like he hits that low drop kick, you see the shift in styles. Arhennis, a beautiful technico, very fast, very agile. Penta is just mean. He slows the tempo down to his favor with the chops and military press slam into the turnbuckle, and immediately the Sarah Miedo chants come back on, which is it's so interesting in 2014 to see that like crowds favoring Penta being just a brutal piece of shit over the agile, the technical Arhennis. And part of that is Penta's been on TV more, so he's had a lot more exposure. He's definitely the bigger name in the company at this point, has been given more promo time, is featured more predominantly as a character. But to see people just get this on board with Penta makes me very happy.
Yeah. Sonda Theodore, who dated Hugh Hefner for 5 years from 76 to 81, said
was a dog.
No, she said she once walked in on Hugh Hefner engaging in sex acts with their dog, and he responded with dogs have needs.
That for other dogs, you creepy shit heel fucking rat bastard fuck, man.
Yeah, just pump a male dog full of hormones and then watch them have sex, you freak.
Comparatively, I hate that that's the better option, but it is, and you're right.
See, this is a pre-Animal Planet world they were living in. He couldn't just turn on the tube and see two dogs fucking.
He had to do it for himself, I guess.
Sisters, aka, in this case, misters, are doing it for themselves.
Sure.
It's gross, guys.
It's real bad. It's so... Man, because I was on stream the other day, and it came up. It's so... Because we're of a certain age.
Yes.
And I don't... Did you grow up hard on VH1? Like VH1 reality TV?
Kind of.
I hard did. I was like all over VH1 celeb reality programming block. So it's Real Life and all those shows.
Just Surreal Life and I Love series were what I enjoyed.
It wasn't on VH1, but I tie it to this time frame. Was E and like the revitalization of Hugh Hefner and the Playboy brand.
Yes.
And it's so weird of like how much I did. It's weird to think like, it's one thing to think Hugh Hefner was cool in the 60s and 70s. It's another thing to be like 2005 to 2010. Like, no, this is pretty cool and great. And like, it feels like it was presented as like a form of empowerment. And then you get like, he dies and everyone's immediately like, no.
Yeah.
It was actually way, way, way worse. Women were actively trying to escape. They were being used. They were being used as as like currency in that compound. And he's fucking dogs, apparently. Fuck Hugh Hefner. I hate him.
Holly Madison and Bridget Marcourt, they have a podcast where they are doing, like, it's a rewatch of Girls Next Door. They were two of the three girlfriends in the first 4 seasons. And they're like, hey, we're going to first do a, like, preface episode to tell you guys our background. That preface episode to get from like where they started and them like the first episode ended up being like 6 episodes of them like having to explain like, here's what's going on. Also, like Holly Madison is discussing when her book came out. People were like, oh, well, you were fine with what he was doing when you were making money. And she's like, yeah, man, because I was like forced. It was either I did this or I was homeless. I had no other options at that time. And my mother and I watched Girls Next Door. That was one of our activities. Her and I would watch that. And then my first, like, in quotes, serious girlfriend in, like, late high school and after, she was
my mother.
No.
Oh, damn.
That's
Why
disgusting.
won't you date my mom?
No. Wait. Oh, your mother.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Nicole and I will get in a love triangle with your mom.
Thruple up with my mom. Guys, I'm holding a sweepstakes. Any couples out there, happy belated Valentine's Day. Thruple up with my mom. Email me later.
So my ex, she was obsessed with Girls Next Door. She loved the Playboy brand, and that's because of Girls Next Door. She's like, wow, this looks lavish. This is amazing. So we watched all the seasons together. We enjoyed doing this. Then when we went to Las Vegas, Holly Madison was in, I forget the name of the show that was there. It's a very good show. It's like burlesque meets, I guess, Alice in Wonderland. That's how I would describe it.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Hopefully if you Google Holly Madison burlesque, you can find that show. Yeah, that sounds great.
I would search Holly Madison Las Vegas show. You will find it. And then she ended up like trying out for Playboy. She like came to Chicago. We like made a trip of it with her friends for her to try out for Playboy. She did not. But you know, that I think that's, with things coming to light, best case scenario.
Oh gosh, yeah. Like it's so weird. Like talking about like how you kind of mentioned, like she was a fan of the brand, and because it was for a short time, but it was so oversaturated that like this brand coming back and like if you weren't, I would say, a teenager in those like mid-aughts, you might have missed that because it wasn't for very long, but it became honestly what I imagine it was when this brand first came out, where it wasn't just about doing porn. Like it was a big deal. Mm-hmm. Like that's the thing, like when you would pose on Playboy, it wasn't porn. It was, beautiful. It was artistic. It was higher class than just your average smut.
It was also like counterculture, punk rock, whatever you want to call it, because Hugh Hefner, at least like, once you get power, like that will corrupt you. Like that's what happened to this man. And, Quaaludes were a huge thing. He did Quaaludes, and that will also make you a disgusting person if you're the most powerful man in pornography, and also like you're shown in a light that like, hey, you're cool. But like he did good things for literature and for the arts, because people who were getting red listed or blacklisted, whatever you want to call it, he would publish their stories and serialize them.
A lot of things. But it's so, because we didn't grow up with that Playboy. Mm-hmm. We grew up with the revitalized 2010s, 2000s Playboy. And so we didn't yes, there was some punk rock and whatever you can say about his past work, but the brand that became a big deal to us was absolute, I feel like at that point, predatory garbage trash. Trash, I will say yes. And this is how I will explain that it's trash. Mm-hmm. This is how I predatory, because we also can't the predatory is the biggest problem.
But I don't think like that was focused on. I think if you look at in the 70s Playboy, you think of, hey, it's these centerfolds that you're not seeing like open vagina opposed to, and there's no penetration. There's only hints of a man in these centerfolds, meaning like, oh, it's like lipstick or like a cigar. Oh, it's in the background. There was a man here. I know all of this because I watched 6 or so seasons of Girls Next Door.
Sure, the psychology behind Playboy.
But when this revitalization, I will sum up as a 16-year-old who just went to a tanning salon. She was there because she had like you get like these stickers to show like how pale you were before, just a little bit, like a sticker of the Playboy bunny sign on this high schooler that is like I kind of branded into you. Mm-hmm. And they probably have a belly button piercing that has a Playboy bunny in the ring.
Culturally, yes. And what we're learning now is that I can't think of a great example. You know what? Maybe actually Joe and Joe might work. or some of the psychopathic as a record label that presents itself as pro-indie and pro-punk. I'm speaking specifically in the 2000s, but in actuality is taking advantage of people and is highly, highly, highly predatory.
And toxic.
Toxic as all hell. Man. All right. There is no good transition back into this. Well, you know what? No, Penta's being toxic as hell. He's still better than Hugh Hefner, but he is being toxic as hell when he hits his package pile driver to set up the sacrifice arm bar for the submission win, 5 minutes and 3 seconds, but still breaks the arm after the bell.
Damn! Which the win should be null and void.
I mean, yeah, but it's up to referee's discretion.
Speaking of, Vampiro and Matt Striker are like, what's this the referee's name?
Rick Knox. This is Rick Knox.
Okay. They're like, what's up with his arm? Like, it's constantly injured.
It really is. His hand was broken the first day, and I think it's still like healing or whatever. I don't know. Rick Knox is cool though. He used to do a segment on Being the Elite where just like you'll be backstage at catering, and if you miss, you throw out your trash, but you accidentally litter. It's like, hey, pick that up. No, I don't want to pick it up. 1, 2, 3, and they have to pick it up before he counts to 10. Like just doing rep stuff in day-to-day life. Rick Knox is pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Speaking of throwing, Pentagon throws Arhenis. That's who he's fighting, right?
Yes.
We got so way off track on Hugh Hefner that I forgot.
Ooh, a little bit.
He throws him like head down, feet up, and he just like skirts on the mat on his head and lands on it. It looked like it hurt, and this man shouldn't have been able to stand up afterwards.
Yeah. It surprised me to see it in 2014, though it shouldn't, because I unfortunately was not around for like Ring of Honor, CZW, a lot of these like good early 2000s indies. I was stuck with a really bad version of the WWE at the time. But there was this like movement towards violence you see with guys like Samoa Joe, you know, hardcore death matches with like Zandig and Necro Butcher and CZW. So like there is in the States this like really an evolution from the Attitude Era because of like the Stone. Yeah, I like Stone Cold because he beats the shit out of people and he don't give a fuck. And, you know, WWE didn't have a real Stone Cold type after that. Really wouldn't get something like that until CM Punk. And even then, he's kind of a smaller guy, so he has to be a little bit more of a technico. So to see Penta beat the shit out of people and not give a fuck is like, it's pretty fresh in 2014. Hell, it's fresh now. People love seeing people get the shit kicked out of them as long as you don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And then my last note on this was Vampiro says there are a couple prima donnas here at Lucha Underground. And I'm like, who? Tell us, man.
Give us the details.
Which, hey, we're looking into things. You know, it could be that piece of shit that we don't like.
Oh, I just realized why I like this episode so much. He's nowhere near it.
Yeah.
He doesn't, not even mentioned on this episode. 10 out of 10. We cut back to the locker room. Fenix pulls up. It's Alberto, if you're wondering.
Yeah.
I realize we don't have to be coy. It's Alberto. Fuck that guy. In the locker room, Fenix is pulling up his kick pads when Katrina appears. Because that's what she does. She doesn't walk into rooms. She appears.
She also vanishes. She's a demon, dude. Also,
maybe she's a magician. Zatanna from the DC is not a demon. I don't actually know.
Also, we find out later, and we've seen this before. I don't know why I haven't brought this up. She looks the same as the day her and Mill met.
Yeah, because she has great creamer and
my God.
lotion. This is also, James, have we talked about the Twitter movement of like independent artists of Fenix is a cat?
No. No, wait, yes, you have.
Okay, yeah. I just want to bring it up because I feel like we get a lot of Fenix face, a lot of his like facial reactions in this segment. And if you're a fan of Fenix is a cat, this is the segment for you. Because as soon as she walks in, he has this "please let me have some alone time" face. And then she goes on to say, "You may be a man of 1,000 lives, but Mill won't stop until he has taken all of them." And that's kind of when he it's still a very intense face, but he goes away from the "I just need my space" to be like, that's true. So she tells him the only thing you can do, you must bury him. And he clenches his fist and he purses his lips and he looks like the cutest little angriest cat of like, I know I left my toy under the fridge and my paws are just not long enough to get it, but I must get that toy back. The only difference is that when Phoenix gets that way, he's gonna kick someone's fucking head in, and it's awesome.
Hell yeah. I mean, Socks does that too. He's constantly punching at Nicole.
Yeah.
I love when they go, bury him, you must. When my friend group played Super Smash Brothers, and that's it. Like, we were very, very much into that. And when Nicole came around, it was, I believe, MC Deep, our friend Brandon and roommate Brandon, Nicole and I, and just making Brandon mad because we had those balls from Animal Crossing that when you throw them on the ground, it puts you into the ground, like you fall into it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we were playing with just those, and we kept like throwing them at Brandon, just screaming, get buried, to the point where like whenever we see one of those things, we will scream, get buried. So I was like, fuck, man, I wish Phoenix and Mill were in Super Smash Brothers. Someone mod this so we can Phoenix throws one at Mill and Mill gets buried.
It's the same thing I see whenever I see Bill Hader on the street. Get buried. He says, we're working on season 3 now.
Oh, okay. For some weird reason, I was thinking of...
Skeleton Twins?
No, Napoleon Dynamite, dude.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, which dude?
No.
Is Bill Hader in Napoleon Dynamite?
No,
I don't think so.
It's another dude with the last name Hader, I thought.
Oh, probably.
And I was like, what buried thing did he do?
James, you wouldn't steal a car, right?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, don't pirate DVDs. As Conan appears in the classic You Wouldn't Steal a Car, Don't Pirate DVDs promo.
I will say,
yes,
we said this feels a lot like Simple and Clean from Kingdom Hearts.
Very much.
I synced it up. It feels like they used that song as a placeholder. And then they're like, well, there's no way Square Enix will let us have this.
And they did not.
They did not. But it needed some reworking, and I just did not have the time to finish it. If someone wants to do it, it fits perfectly, guys.
Yeah. And honestly, we had this segment, 2 weeks ago now, because I missed last week. It's similar. I think this one's even better. This is kind of crazy. Is Conan's being rained on through memories of Puma versus Cage, through memories of his cane breaking. And this is when we find out that Conan is also a blacksmith and is welding a brand new murder weapon / cane. Like, he's smashing cinder blocks. He's like smashing bottles. He's about to murder like 5 dudes.
He pulls out a gun.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, but it's all the cane. The cane is a murder weapon. He built it himself. He welded this cane himself. God damn.
What if it ends up being like the Penguin's cane and he like pulls out a like sword from it?
There is a greater than 0% chance that's going to happen. James, if you put in that bet right now, I will also put money on that bet.
I don't want to because I don't make enough money to do any betting of any kind.
Neither do I. Conan's also, oh man, I like these lines. Conan says, let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night. And again, it's this like, where last week it was a little more country, it was a little like folkier country. This is picking up. There's some tempo. There's some distortion and fuzz in the guitar this time.
Mm-hmm. I will say, people need to stop using, it's as impenetrable as night, all of those kinds of things. Cell phones have a flashlight on it, guys. It's so easy to see in the dark.
That's also true. Yeah, man, you took all this time to build yourself a new cane, and you didn't put a flashlight on it, Conan? What the fuck?
Yeah.
But this is the line that got me. And when you fall beautifully. And my heart jumped. When you fall beautifully, like a thunderbolt. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's gonna murder Brian Cage, and I think I'm okay with it.
No, wait, what? Are you saying Brian Cage in AEW is a ghost?
I mean, I can't definitively prove not.
Okay.
So maybe it would reshape my entire opinion on him if that's true.
Can I ask you a quick would you rather?
Of course.
Would you rather pee in a monkey's mouth or eat a ghost?
Now, the monkey, I'm assuming, is a live monkey.
Yes.
Will the monkey retaliate?
No, he might enjoy it.
Might enjoy it?
Yeah.
Is it dependent on my pee?
No, I'm just saying a monkey at
I need
bare
to know if this
minimum
monkey's going to enjoy it or not.
won't retaliate. It will either be indifferent or love it.
Or eat a ghost.
Yes, eat a true, it's not figurative. You are truly eating a ghost. You don't know the ramifications, but you are eating a ghost.
So I don't know if whether I destroy the ghost or I not destroy the ghost.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the ghost situation.
You could be Mama Cocoing it, meaning like, everyone will forget about this person's memory. So, it's George Washington's ghost. You eat it. Maybe George Washington. People are like, the fuck is this on the dollar bill?
That's a rough one. That's a rough one because I live in America and that's pretty cool sometimes. Not always. I think morally I have to pee in the monkey's mouth.
Oh, damn.
Which sucks. But morally I think that's the ethical decision. Is the only one of the few times the ethical choice is to pee into the monkey's mouth. But I think it is. Yeah, it's safer.
And maybe the monkey's parched and, it has needs too.
Yeah, or the monkey's just a fucking freak. I don't know.
Looping it back to Hugh Hefner.
What a piece of trash. Not a piece of trash. Well, he kind of is. He's not a good guy. King Cuerno in his pickup truck just driving through LA. Yeah.
I do need to say, on Mostly Speaking Sentai After Dark last week over on patreon.com/MLM pod, please listen to that for the full context of this would you rather that I just said.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Driving okay. Driving through LA, we talked about this before. King Cuerno, beautiful pickup. Casual Cuerno, like he's wearing the mask, but he's got jeans and a nice button up. Just real badass looking. Like it's literally it's just him looking like a fucking badass and showing up at his job very late, if you think about it. Like he's 15 minutes away from his match. Like, I don't know, man.
No, hey, 15 minutes early is on time, baby.
Yeah, but probably want to do some promo. I don't know. Maybe check in with the guys at catering.
No.
Check in with wardrobe.
You yourself don't eat before an improv because you don't want a full stomach. Same with this dude.
Man, you know what? That's true. You know what, King Cuerno? You're killing it. 15 minutes early is on time.
Also, to anyone who doesn't watch along with us and just listens to the show, he does not look badass. He does not. He looks corny.
So cool.
No.
This man is the fucking bees who have knees. This man was driving through LA. They say, hey, you got 15 minutes until your match. He says, what you got? And they said, what? And he said, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you asked what I was rebelling against. And they said, no. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go inside. He's so cool, baby.
But let's get on to the next match.
The next match. Angelico versus Evil East, guest referee, Son of Havoc.
Ooh, and he's looking like a little cutie in his referee outfit.
Very nice. I love a leather vest. If it happens to come with a referee shirt, I'm pretty down.
Yes. He looks very Magic Mike.
I can see that. I mean, the referee shirt does not have sleeves, which is awesome because there was some grade A beef arms under there. Mm-hmm. And this match was set up before an Evil East beat Angelico. I still don't understand why Cueto made Son of Havoc guest referee, but it's happening. Evil East, prove to us you're violent. That's sort of the underlying sub-theme of this match. Is Evil East won with the help of Son of Havoc, see you do it again, and also fucking kick some ass, dude. Mm-hmm. I also have the opening between Stryker and Vampiro as Angelico is coming down. Angelico has captured the hearts and imaginations of every fan in the temple. Vampiro, are you a fan? No, but I agree with you, man. And I see girls are freaking out over this guy. He has a nice waistline, but that's not my thing. Thank you, Vampiro, for the grade A analysis of this man's waistline.
And then Stryker, he says it every single time there is he's like, hey, we don't need to, we're not going to pound you over the head about women's lib. Just watch the match and you'll see that women are on the same level as men. You are pounding it over our heads because you say it every single time there's a co-ed inter match.
Which, it's funny, I think, I don't know if this is fair. Not what you're saying is very fair. What I'm about to say, I think the Dominator is a great idea. I'm kidding.
Yes, we can clip that, guys.
What I'm not sure if is fair is that. Well, I agree, and it's funny as an outsider, absolutely, because as someone who doesn't watch aggressively too much wrestling and is not inundated by some of the rules professional wrestling in America has set over the past 50, 60 years. Like, yeah, you're watching from the outside. Like, of course not. Uma Thurman in Kill Bill we don't need that beat over our head that she can murder dudes. She's a great fighter who can murder dudes, and we accept that because we're watching the movie. With how deep, especially misogyny in wrestling, and particularly the hottest wrestling has ever been, the most wrestling has ever sold, the most eyes that were on the product was really not pro women at all.
Yeah.
Like it was like even Alundra Blaze, that was kind of after her time. All we really had as far as women who were wrestlers first, characters second, was like Lita. And then eventually people who would get there, people who would eventually they would start presenting as serious competitors like Trish Stratus, or people who were also, and it's not to say you have to be a serious wrestler to be a woman in wrestling. I mean, Stacy Keibler, Dawn Marie, some amazing valets who were great at being told the story of valeting and managing so well. But there is almost this need to break that down and beat that over the head for long-time wrestling fans.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he needs to do that or if he just feels like he needs to do that because he himself is a long-time wrestling fan and has been in the business for a number of years.
It could also be hey, every episode is someone's first episode, and with that, I guess, you might need, but don't put, we don't need to beat it over your head. Just say, hey, and for anyone out there who might not see it this way, women are on the same level as men, and that's what we do here in Lucha Underground. Just don't frame it as, if you're afraid of framing it as women's lib, just say this is what wrestling is everywhere else. America, the United States, that's the shitty shit. We are bringing it how it should be brought and how it is brought everywhere else.
Yeah. Well, and it should be a soundbite. It should be no longer than a soundbite. And the more you add on clauses and sort of justifications, the lesser the power of the soundbite is.
Oh, okay. So this is the greatest soundbite in all of rock and roll. Are there too many? Is it too long, Sean? You wanted the best. You got the best. The greatest rock and roll band in all the world. Kiss.
Why is the Kiss catchphrase being yelled at me?
Because I've watched Detroit Rock City many times, and that's how I know it.
I appreciate that.
Not from any of their live albums.
Oh man, they're pretty cool.
I don't like how the old rock is mixed, so no thank you. It's as if they didn't know there was a low end.
Which it was the 70s. They very well might not have.
Okay, well, Motown, that had a low end.
Oh, I'm sorry. They were in the 70s and were stupid people.
Yeah.
So they might not have known. Also, shouts out to Vampiro for confirming the internet rumors. Evilise is tough in the ring and also a hottie. Let the message boards know. As another example, kind of like Penta. Son of Havoc getting naturally over with the audience. Mm-hmm. At this point has been nothing but a heel, kind of like Penta. But even unlike Penta, has not had at least Penta's being booked as this powerful, strong-looking badass dude. Son of Havoc's character, he's kind of a worm in a lot of ways, but amazing offense. I think a lot of it is how much he's selling this match. I want to talk about his face for a little bit in this match because it's beautiful. He's got a good face in this match, but also just has like great moves. So, like a mix of his in-ring work and him just playing his part well is really getting people on board.
Speaking of worms, I got 2 on my pelvis.
Are those your cum gutters?
Yeah.
Nice. Are we calling them worms now?
Yeah, I thought we brought that.
Okay.
Nicole's been hating that I'm referring to them as worms.
Not gonna lie, I think I agree with Nicole. This is a match. It's a very similar story as to the last one. Angelico does not want to strike a woman. He doesn't want to he doesn't really want to punch the shit out of Ivelisse. But Ivelisse is here. Like that, she was expressly told and wanted to like prove that she is violent. She is a capable competitor. Fucking chop me, bro.
Hey, if he doesn't want to strike a woman, I guess we need to strike him over the head with some of this women's lib shit.
Yeah, about goddamn time. Love me some women's lib.
I think the sound clip for this episode is the why am I being screamed at about Kiss?
I did it. It rattled me so much. I am such a Kiss fan. Because it's like, I am a Kiss fan. You know that. Like, I've gone to like this. They were one of my first like favorite bands. And to be just aggressively yelled at the catchphrase of one of my old favorite bands, I don't know how to feel.
Live at Colby Hall. Cobalt Hall?
Yeah. I'm like at Helico in this match. I just don't know how to feel. He's still trying, a master of Yave, so he still has a lot of great holds and a lot of great locks that he's kind of using to flirt with Ivelisse the whole time. It's hard to kind of tell whether and I think they preface it pretty clearly that he's not flirting just to flirt with Ivelisse. Part of it's mind games with her. Part of it's also mind games with Son of Havoc.
I think it's mainly mind games with him.
I think so too. So we'll get to this point where like his like catch as catch can lock up style of wrestling can only get him so far. Mm-hmm. He's gonna need to hit her.
Yeah.
Like there's this the sunset flip spot where she kind of sunset flips over him, bridges over to a pin. Mm-hmm. Then he flips out of it. And normally what that does when you flip out of a bridge and then he'll go for a pin himself. Instead, she just ends up sitting on his chest.
My favorite way to flirt with someone, make them sit on your chest.
Hell yeah. And this is what I want to talk about, Son of Havoc's face. Just big, fucking like plastered all over his eyes. And he's the referee. It's technically a pinfall. So he has to count. Like he has to, I gotta count, but this sucks, man.
The first time she pins him, though, Son of Havoc waits a long time, and Vampiro just starts screaming, "The fix is in, guys! The fix is in!"
Yeah. When in actuality, I think she just took a second to bridge over. Because it's funny, she had him in a pinfall, but she wanted to bridge over so he doesn't start counting until she hits the bridge. And so I don't know. It's an interesting little hiccup that then Vampiro aggressively highlights by yelling about it.
And when I'm listening to the Carpenters, I don't start grooving till they hit the bridge.
So when Helico kicks out, Ivelisse ends up sitting on his chest. Son of Havoc, oh no, jeez. 1, 2, and Helico pushes her off, but leaves his hand, like still holds onto her thighs. Pulls her back in to sit on his chest a second time. And this is where Son of Havoc's like, no, I'm not counting this one. No. He goes to pull her up. And we get some more, again, like some more catch can. And Helico trying to get out of there. But every time like he puts her in an interesting hold, he gets her like in a lock. She's going to throw the bow. She's going to throw the knees. Eventually, the stalling, he gets her in a stalling suplex. She counters down by like lowering her body weight, putting her in a standing guillotine choke. And Angelico reverses the guillotine choke by softly caressing her lower reverse abdomen.
Yay.
Direct quote from Vampiro. He's like, what part of the body is that? It's the reverse abdomen, the back.
The small of the back, guys.
Nah, lower reverse abdomen, James. Come on.
God.
Be a professional. Eventually, we'll get to the end. Ivelisse throws a knee strike, and throughout the match, Son of Havoc is clearly helping Ivelisse.
Yeah.
He gets in the way. He gets in the way of certain strikes. He helps pull her down from Angelico's crucifix finisher. Eventually, though, she goes to slap I think Son of Havoc he's not cheating good enough, so she slaps him. It's like, oh, and Helico just fucking hates Son of Havoc, so he goes to slap him with his foot. Son of Havoc ducks, roundhouse kicks Evilise, and Helico lands the sexiest pinfall I've ever seen. I think Matt Striker puts it best. Fast count, get off my girlfriend. He gets the 3 and 6. He gets the 3 count at 6 minutes 13 seconds.
I do. We don't need to go into a huge discussion about this because we kind of already did with the women's liberation stuff. This is a perfect example of seeing the old guard of wrestling fans starting to phase out, because there's a moment midway through this that the audience for the most part silent, then a small minority start screaming, hit that bitch, and then you hear someone loudly shush them, and then they're like, oh, okay, and then it's back to being silent of people like wanting to see this match. And like, this is amazing. I love the story that's going on. It's great wrestling. There's showmanship within it. And then these people that are like, yeah, hit that bitch. And they're like, shut up. Just get out of here. We're trying to focus on something.
It's not, there will be shows, there'll be events where like that like shitty ass old guard creeps in, but it is very nice. Especially when you hear GCW, which is a super indie. They're awesome, and all accounts, all of their shows, they travel, and all their shows, they have such a great fan base of basically being that shush, that like, which is so cool because they are an independent. They are, they got a large focus in death matches and hardcore matches, and it's the thing I know we've said, I've gone into before. It's always the nicest person in the locker room is always the dude covered in thumbtacks with like barbed wires still trapped around his barbed wire tattoo, ironically enough, but are kind and like very much, not shitty. It's so cool to see.
Which is probably because any shittiness they have in their heart is being bled out. Like, that's why they're doing this. There's something that they need to get out, and it's getting out properly, consensually. It's
a hell of a release valve, and there's something so beautiful. It's one of the reasons, like, man, if you don't get out there enough, it's worth it to go out there enough, because you meet so many people, going from town to town, city to city, and wrestle. Like, if you're not on a contract, you're like an independent wrestler. You wrestle so many different people. You get a better worldview because you meet more people. Well, it's a beautiful thing. Meet people. Expand your worldview. It's good.
Yeah, get really high and then end up at an improv show. We don't have time to discuss that.
No, we got to go into the bathroom with Mil Muertes, who is adjusting his mask in the mirror when Katarina's disembodied voice comes through. Then she does, caressing his upper reverse chest, his back. She tells him, "You were a scared child alone in the dark the day that death came to visit. Do you remember that day? I do. It was the day we first met, but all things must come to an end. Pascual Mendoza. Next week, I will have Fenix send you back to the darkness where you came from in a match that will have grave consequences. He will put you in a coffin and close the lid, and you..." I stopped writing. We'll be scared. I kept writing. "We'll be scared, boy, in dark once again. Death is coming for you, Mil Muertes, 1,000 of them."
Yay.
Mil turns around, Katarina is gone, but the stone and the handkerchief is there, and he freaks the fuck out. I feel like he could handle, he was ready to handle Katarina, he was not ready to look at The Rock.
Yeah, because that signifies Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yes, and this man is not ready for the XFL. Clearly. Send him back to the minor leagues, aka the NFL.
No, guys, real quick, watch Young Rock. It's very funny.
Is it like funny because it's good, or is it funny?
It's funny and it's good.
Oh, okay. I know everything I see about it is just like, that's weird and that doesn't look like Stone Cold at all or whatever.
I haven't gotten into the Stone Cold. We're still in season 1. He hasn't gotten to wrestling yet.
Let us know when he gets into wrestling, I guess. I don't know.
It's very good, guys, because it's also like an absurdist take on his life. Like, it's not a like one-for-one retelling.
Yeah, like, I mean, the big thing is eventually they get to Shawn Michaels, and it is not like they don't even call him Shawn Michaels. It's I forget what they call him, Blake Frost or something. And it's like I guess Rock's about to just shit on Shawn Michaels so hard that they don't want to actually call him Shawn Michaels. All right, whatever. Heartbreak Kid for life, baby. Brett screwed Brett. We get to our main event. And I guess because we're running short on time, so we won't get too detail specific.
I also only have a few notes, but this is a fantastic match.
This is, yes. Please go out of your way to watch this match. It's fucking beautiful. And it's so interesting. These are two high flyer guys. King Cuerno, a little more direct, I think, stylistically. But in general, especially Johnny, very high flying styles. And to see them both kind of, again, we talked about before, this is very personal. This is King Cuerno wants to make his name off Johnny Mundo. Johnny Mundo has been fighting for his life for weeks now. And they put them in a cage. And like, that's kind of the old school ideology behind cages, if I may, real quick. Are you familiar with the adage, like, when do you sing in a musical?
Oh,
when
no.
you're emotional. So the old idea, and it's the same kind of thing we were taught in stage combat. When does a song come in a musical? It's when your emotions are so high that words are not enough. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same idea in cage matches. When do you do a cage match? When the emotions are so high that a wrestling match is not enough.
Okay, well, you didn't specify cage matches. You said the old adage of cages, and I thought you were going to go in and say, cages, like at a schoolyard, they're to keep the predators out and the children in, which is something Stryker says, and I'm like, why? Why is that your analogy here? You could have said...
That's my teacher. That's my teacher. That's me and Vampiro's teacher over there, baby.
You could have said literally like, a castle wall. It's to keep the enemies out and to protect the people inside.
Yeah, he does not say that, does he?
He also says, which we last episode discussed, hunting cultures. Like, I'm from Western Michigan. Hunting is huge there. Mm-hmm. Stryker says there's almost something calculating, macabre about a man who hunts. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. But if you say that, say the same thing about a truffle pig.
I mean, there is definitely, based on all the hunters I've known from Western New York, there is something more calculating and more macabre about a truffle pig than I'm going to pour piss on my boots and the deer ain't even going to smell me coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am more intimidated by the truffle pig than my Uncle Larry.
Speaking of piss, I forget who screams it or why, but someone screams pea blood, King Cuerno.
Oh, yeah, no, don't you worry. That was, and I wish it was as simple as pea blood, King Cuerno. Oh, no, it was this. Cut that part out. It was.
It's not getting cut.
I know. I fucked up. It was our favorite, our teacher, Mad Stryker. When they're fighting, this is the second time they are fighting on the top of on the top of the rope, on the top of the cage. It's just Stryker going, "Ooh, kidney shot, pea blood, King Cuerno." We're all like, "Yeah, okay." But to go back to it, also, King Cuerno disrobes beforehand. He sets up the deer head in the corner on the outside of the cage, as he's wont to do. But they have these very high flying styles and they don't throw their styles out. It's so, I found it so fascinating to watch how they worked their flashier styles in while also acknowledging this is not the moment to be flashy.
Yeah.
Like I need to just beat the shit out of this dude or he's going to kill me. Like Johnny Mundo does start hitting his parkour flips, but as a means of like, I just beat the shit out of this dude. I got to do more damage. It's such a beautiful fucking cage match. I guess we'll just jump to the end.
Oh,
if that's all right.
Yeah. That's my last note is just beautiful finish because of how it's set up. You explain it. You know the moves, names, and whatnot.
Sure. So the second time, they're on the top rope in the corner of the cage. There are different ways to win cage matches. This is pinfall, submission, or escape. If any of those criteria are met, you win the match.
Yeah.
Escape being escape the cage. They're on the top rope. They're fighting. and they're just kicking the shit out of each other. I don't know if I've seen this spot before, but I guess just to backtrack, because I do want to talk about their punching and kicking to the point where they, on the top of the cage, to the point where they both collapse from the top all the way to the mat. Mm-hmm. And that's how intense this is, where I'm going to punch you until I don't have air in my lungs left, and I collapse from the top rope to the mat.
There was also King Cuerno was almost over the fence midway through, but Johnny holds him by...
got his legs over the cage.
But Johnny holds him by the mask, and instead of allowing the mask to be pulled off, he says, fuck it, that's a bigger loss than losing this match right now, and goes back over, but back to the end.
It is a death, yes. This is the second time. They're on the top again. They are punching and kicking for their lives. They remembered what happened last time they were up here. It is do or die. Johnny gets the advantage. He starts bouncing Cuerno's head off the top of the cage before peeling him back and making him flip out to the bottom of the mat again. So it's just Johnny on the top of the cage. He goes to climb out. He turns around and the crowd's kind of like, no, that's not... Escape is... You can win by escape, or you could murder this man. Mm-hmm. Johnny says, I'm going to murder this man. He perches in the corner on the top of the cage above the deer head. And we get this shot from below the deer head looking up at the crouched, coiled like a serpent Johnny Mundo before he flies off the top of the cage. A Phoenix splash for the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. 13 minutes, 41 seconds.
Oh, it was so good. And this is Johnny Mundo related. I was watching Sharknado 5 on Friday.
I am so interested in seeing how this is Johnny Mundo related.
This movie is probably it's one of the best out of the 6. We have not seen the 6th one yet. But they go to, I forget what, like a different country, and all of a sudden, who's in this bar? Johnny Mundo!
Johnny Mundo,
fucker is punching and wrestling sharks out of the sky. Everyone watch that scene.
I love this man so much. I would watch this man. There are very few animals I would not watch Johnny Mundo punch out of the sky or the sea. And even after the match, so normally we've had something, we cut back to the back, there's some story progression. This match does not do that, and I thought that was actually beautiful. Mm-hmm. Match goes off the air with Johnny sitting on the top of the cage, pumping his fist to the crowd's lucha chants. In a way, either he's the greatest actor of all time, or there was such a sincere look of pride in this match. I don't know. I was very moved. By that picture, by that shot of him over the deer head about getting ready to hit the splash, but also just watching him chant, pump his fist along in this way that's I don't think it's not necessarily that he regrets his time with the WWE or anything like that, but that this is something he might not have gotten to do there. And it was 13 minutes, 41 seconds. Again, I can't recommend enough to go out of your way. If you're in just the purest example of what is a cage match. What does it mean to do a cage match in the story of professional wrestling? And in the greater scheme of the story, where does a cage match fit in? This match is a textbook example of that. And the way these men adjust their styles to wrestle in the cage, so fucking good, man. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Johnny Mundo, King Cuerno, fucking let's go.
Yay, yay.
And that is this week in Sweaty Time and Lucha Underground. Oh, baby. And and if you're interested in seeing more of our bullshit, baby, you can find me over at twitch.tv/GooseVK. And I will help, we'll probably talk more about cartoon crushes. I went on a stream. I was going to be okay, let's finish this game real quick. I think I played 30 minutes of a video game and then spent an hour and a half talking about Audrey from Atlantis. Forgot how cute she was. And various other cartoon crushes. Shouts out to Dot Matrix from Reboot. That's an all-timer for life.
I'm only into Judy Hopps from
Yo.
Zootopia.
She's on the list, man. Don't think you're coming in without it. Did not put her. Oh yeah. No, Judy Hopps. Don't worry. You're
Pixar
there.
and Disney, they know how to animate an ass.
I love butts.
Hey guys, head over to MLMpod.com to find out information about my other podcast like Height of Horror. Check it out. Hey. It's a very good show. Please listen to that. And hey, listen to my music under Marshland Monster. Just put out a new CD. And oh my God, more Dragon Boy Suede Marshland Monster. It's in the can even. We got a song done. I got to send it to you, Sean. It's a catchy song, but Nicole's like, this is... I need to know why this was written. It's a weird one, but I like it.
You two are fucking weirdos. That's awesome.
And then go over to patreon.com/MLMpod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content every single week in the form of beautiful podcasts. All of March. It's nothing but This Existed every single Friday doing trauma movies. Yay. And if you're a $10 patron, you get all of that content plus exclusive monthly content in the form of straight to Patreon. And you better believe it, next month we're also doing Nicole's favorite trauma movie, The Evolved Part 1. And it's going to be a fun time. You also get names read on every single free feed podcast. So let's begin with those, starting with Steve F.
P-Blood, King Cuerno.
Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour.
P-Blood, King Cuerno.
Alex Z, The Waz.
P-Blood, King Cuerno.
Orion, he's a rapper, Defo, D-F-O.
P-Blood, King Cuerno.
Kayla, AK2 Grapes.
2P, 2 Blood, King 2 Cuerno.
Jordan B, the Chaos Witch.
P-Blood, Chaos Cuerno.
My Bickle brother in common law, Joshua Jakis.
P-Blood, King Cuerno.
Steve Barnes of Sweet Child of Time. We're back, baby. Go listen to that podcast.
P-Blood, Steve Barnes.
My mother, the womb in which I emerged.
I hope she never pees blood.
Oh, you want to know what? She was probably shooting out blood when I emerged.
Nice.
Lil Corey's BFF and roommate Shane.
P-Blood, King Cuerno.
That fed.
P-Blood, that Cuerno. Shit.
And twitch.tv/core winning. It's Corwin.
P-Blood, King Cuerno.
And that's it. See you guys.
Oh yeah. Bye.
Bye. Oh, hey,